Khamzat Chimaev says that he will most likely return at UFC 308 in Abu Dhabi. Khamzat says that he wants a title shot. Speaking of Match TV, Khamzat said, I'm also waiting for my return. Most likely, this will happen in October in Abu Dhabi. The opponent is not yet known, but I would like to fight for the title. I have 7 fights, 7 victories. There is no fighter in the UFC who has won 7 fights without fighting for the belt. Dana White constantly says different things, but we are having negotiations. Do you guys think Khamzat should fight for the title? Post your opinions in the comments. So it looks like Nate Diaz wasn't paid nearly as much as he thought for the boxing match against Jorge Masvidal, and now he's suing. According to TMZ Sports, Nate says that he was promised $10 million for the fight, but claims that he never received 90% of it. His attorney filed the lawsuit in U.S. District Court in Miami on Monday. In the suit, Nate claims that before he even stepped in the ring, he made a deal with promoter Solomon Engel and his company Fanmio, in which he agreed to take the bout in exchange for a $9 million payday. Nate says that after he beat Jorge, Engel refused to pay. Nate claims that Engel said that he couldn't supply the funds because he didn't profit off the fight like he expected. The lawsuit also claims that Engel told Nate that he couldn't pay him despite verbal and written agreements because his wife might divorce him over the financial loss. Nate is suing for fraud and breach of contract. Ariel Helwani denies the rumors of Ilia Topuria fighting Max Holloway at the Sphere. Over the weekend at UFC Denver, the French-Canadian broadcast appeared to have leaked the fights. Ariel, however, says that it's not happening.
Was never the plan. The plan was always the Grasso title defense. As she told us a couple of weeks ago, she is, of course, from Mexico, and it is a love letter to Mexico, as Dana White has said. Noche UFC. Makes all the sense in the world. She's the only Mexican champion left at the moment. You know, you had Yair as the interim champ. You had Brandon Moreno. And then the plan has, for some time, been Sugar Sean O'Malley versus Merab. Now, both fights aren't official just yet. They haven't been signed, but that has been the plan. And as I said, if they did go with that fight, then the other plan would be Ilia versus Max, most likely on the October 5th Utah card, which hasn't been officially announced yet. Also on that card, we suspect Juliana Pena versus Raquel Pennington. Can't imagine they would put a Spaniard on a Noche UFC card. Crazier things have happened.
Curtis Blaydes says that he's not making any big changes in his game for the upcoming fight against Tom Aspinall. Curtis versus Tom goes down at UFC 304. Curtis said conditioning has been the focus in camp. That's the same old. I don't adjust for anyone. I've prepared for this fight the same way I prepare for everyone. I don't like to add extra adjustments, extra things to think about. There's already a whole lot. We don't need to add anything else. Just a normal standard fight camp. 8 weeks of sparring, drilling, running, icing, normal stuff. Kamaru Usman gives his take on Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad. Kamaru thinks that Leon needs to go in and make a statement. He went on to say, I like Leon. You know, being a champion, he definitely has real skills. But I feel like as a fan now, I'm frustrated as a fan because this fight should have happened already. It's been such a long time ago. But I'm glad we're finally able to get the fight, and for Leon to actually go in there and prove to people that he's high up on the pound-for-pound list. I think it's a good fight. I like the confident wave that Leon is carrying now. I think he understands the responsibility of being a champion, how you kind of have to train, the mentality that you kind of have to have, but just a little thing I would like to see from him is that killer come out. If you know you're the top dog, you've got to prove it to each and every contender who wants your spot. Anthony Smith has responded to TJ Dillashaw. Last week, TJ went on the Jackson podcast and had some harsh words for Smith. He said that he didn't understand why his nickname was Lionheart, because TJ says that Anthony gives up in fights.
So we think Anthony Smith has what it takes to be a light heavyweight world champion?
Never.
No.
Dude, I just don't. He's not good enough.
Tough to say.
Like he gives up. Like, have you?
Lionheart.
I've watched the game as
Lionheart.
No, his name is Lionheart.
That's a
Lionheart. What is the nickname?
Would he give himself that?
It means to be with a lion.
Did he give himself that name or what?
Oh my God,
he gives up in there, bro.
TJ, wow.
Okay, the second round, he doesn't even try to stand up. Roman's on his back. He doesn't even try to stand up.
He took the fight on a week's notice.
I'm fighting until I die, dog.
Anthony Smith responded to TJ on the most recent episode of the Believe You Me podcast. Smith says the comments did upset him and found TJ to be disrespectful. He brings up how TJ popped for EPO.
If he doesn't believe that I'll ever be champion, that's totally fine. That's 100% fine. That's his opinion, and he has a right to have it, and that's what you do on podcasts. I totally get it. That part doesn't bother me at all. It was the talking about he must have given himself that nickname and that I'm a quitter and that I give up, and the very personal disrespect part of it. like I say a lot of things about people's games, but I don't think I'm disrespectful to anyone personally. Long story short, I don't know what his problem with me is. So I'll preface this with, I know what everyone's going to say. TJ Dillashaw's more successful. TJ Dillashaw's made more money than me. TJ Dillashaw, like all those, I agree. But I don't know why I allowed it to upset me so much. Like why I let someone like TJ Dillashaw upset me so much. I mean, that dude's like anybody who's been accused of cheating their entire career and been caught taking performance enhancing drugs and been a juice head his entire career and is like not in the testing pool. So we all know exactly what he's doing. I don't know why I would take the opinion of him to heart. So I don't know why I let it piss me off so bad, but it did. The Rampage thing kind of hurt my feelings a little bit because I've been such a big, like Rampage is my favorite fighter and was since I was a teenager. So I think that it was just like being made fun of by TJ Dillashaw with Rampage, I think hurt my feelings. But like, I don't know why I let a guy like TJ Dillashaw is not the moral, the moral high ground of guys that I want to worry about hurt my feelings. So I was fired up yesterday though. Maybe he's right. Maybe I'll never be the champion. But I'll also never do a lot of the things that he's been accused of and caught doing. So like, whatever.
Dustin Poirier seems to be open to the idea of fighting Colby Covington now. 2 years ago, Dustin said that he would never fight Colby in the UFC.
I'll never fight Colby in an octagon where there's finances on the line. If I fight Colby, we're both going to jail. I'm going to jail. I'm not going to fight him in the octagon. He's not making money off of my career and what I've done. This is something different, you will never see me fight Colby Covington in the UFC.
Dustin made an appearance on the Anik and Florian podcast and discussed what could be next for him. John Anik said, "Do you believe, and journalistically you're not supposed to ask yes or no questions, but do you believe that your next opponent will come out of this batch of names? Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor, Alexander Volkanovski, Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira, Colby Covington." Dustin said 100%, yeah, for sure. If I do fight again, and when I do fight again, it will definitely be one of those guys you just said. And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. These comments are in reference to Jon Jones being charged with 2 misdemeanors. The first one's from Punjabi Piccolo. It says that clip of DC saying Jones makes the same mistakes over and over is, unfortunately, still relevant after all these years. The second one says Dana. Jon Jones is the pound for pound greatest of all time. You put that drug tester in a room and Jon in that same room. Only one is coming out. Isn't he amazing? And the final one's from Jon Jones. It says the key to never losing in the cage is to make sure you keep losing in real life. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.